But between those regulated players and what we do is what makes the UAE the best jurisdiction in the world for this space, for all of you to be coming here, setting up here and operating here. As I say, Irene, I can go for 2 hours, so I'll stop here.
Which is fantastic. You are very passionate about this space, and you're very passionate supporting and helping entrepreneurs, which is great. Seeing this coming directly from the government authority, so it's not us entrepreneurs supporting each other, but the governments supporting us as well. So there's one thing that you mentioned, which I want to reiterate. Abu Dhabi has their own licensing regime and regulatory regime. Dubai, of course, we are all here. And you all saw those TikToks, Habibi come to Dubai, so we all came, here we are. And of course Ras Al Khaimah, with the Ras Al Khaimah Digital Assets Oasis, helping entrepreneurs to establish in a non-regulatory space. But what else sets you apart? What else adds to the benefits of entrepreneurs? There's 10,000 people listening to you. In addition to low taxation, no personal income tax, banking, ease of doing business, what other benefits are being provided for them to come to you right now and ask for a company incorporation?
Very good question. I mean, everything you mentioned is probably enough, by the way, but there is more than that, obviously. I think everything that Irene mentioned and I mentioned before are all the ticks that the UAE provides. This is why you're all here. This is why so many are leaving the Far East, Europe, the Americas, and so on, and wanting to be in a friendly jurisdiction, but it's also a jurisdiction that ticks the boxes in the sense that it's not the Wild West. That is what is very, very, very important here. So that even when you talk about unregulated licensing authority, it doesn't mean every cowboy, Tom, Dick, and Harry can come to RAKDAO and register a company and get going and use it as the back door to conduct regulated activities in the UAE. Far from it. In fact, the compliance on our side is actually a bit more complicated, because if you are clearly conducting regulated activities, then the compliance team at Dubai VAR or ADGM and so on know exactly what to ask of you and how to monitor what you do. But when they come to us, it is a business plan, and they tell us what they're doing, and we quickly can say, black or white, not regulated, very welcome. It's regulated, you should talk to the others. Or actually in between, let's talk about it, let's see what do you need today. And in most cases, we're seeing that those companies, day one, need a license in a A-grade, white-listed jurisdiction, the UAE, Dubai, there you go, RAKDAO, the D is the problem here. So, RAKDAO, you get the license in a white-listed jurisdiction. But then what else do you need? Banking. So, in 6 months, we have now licensed 150 companies. Any one of them that has applied for a bank account has been able to get a bank account. And we've helped with that. So banking is absolutely crucial, you know it. So we're helping them with bank accounts, but also the rest of the ecosystem. So it's not, there are many free zones in the UAE. You could go to any of these free zones and ask for a license, but most of them will look at the activity and say, actually, we don't have that activity. So we have the right activity for you so that you can conduct your business and not worry about it, the right set of regulations so that we don't hold you back, but an ecosystem made up of blockchain, security, layer 1s, layer 2, banking, service providers such as IRINA's firm, etc., etc. So all of these things are what many of these startups require. And now, again, we're only 6 months old, so some of the things that we're working on rapidly now are around accelerators, incubators, VCs, access to funding, etc. And within, I promise you, before we're 1 year old, these things will be in place. I give you one example, and there are many, of course, smaller VC firms and incubators and accelerators. And we're talking to a lot of the small ones, but we're also talking to the massive ones. So Tencent is the 7th largest company in the world by market cap. And they're more known for WeChat, WePay, etc., etc. But they're now spending billions on Web3. And they also are spending billions on gaming. And so on. So that is one, we signed an MOU with them. We're going to be doing a lot of things with them, including access to their accelerator and incubator side of Tencent, and many other examples like that. So when you look at what are the pain points for this industry, what do you need to be successful, you'll find that most of things are provided by RAKDAO and the RAKDAO ecosystem partners from today. And these ecosystem partners are not just a list of names on our website. They each provide value. They give value to the RAKDAO tenants, clients, and license holders. So each one of these ecosystem partners will be giving significant discounts, free consultations, all sorts of vouchers, etc., etc. So the value, so you think about it, when you get a license for an unregulated activity, it's typically $5,000 to $10,000. You're going to get value of $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 through the ecosystem partners by being one of the RAKDAO license holders.
I think what we need to mention, we keep talking about regulated and unregulated activities. So let's first mention what are the regulated activities in the UAE, and they're actually only three under the federal regulation. So exchange, custody, and brokerage, right? And the payment services, which is the central bank. So if you're not planning to do exchange, custody, OTC, payment services, then everything else is considered to be unregulated activity federally. In Dubai, a few more activities are considered to be regulatory activity, like advisory, like raising funds for ICOs, etc., etc. So when we talk about the scope of RAKDAO, it's actually huge, it's massive. Literally only three things you cannot do. Everything else is, welcome to potentially RAKDAO as the home of your business. And that's one of the things you mentioned, exactly. Only 5% is regulated. The majority of the business is unregulated. So I wanted to make sure that we're very, very clear on this. One really awesome thing that you mentioned is building the community, building the ecosystem, because we have a saying in Russian, one person is not a warrior, right? You need a team to support you and to help you. In 2008, when I came here, we did not even have co-working spaces, we did not even have hubs, we had none of this. You literally have an office, 9 to 5 job, and that's all there was. Now there is other opportunities. If you have a full-time job, you can still hustle on the side. The UAE law allows for that, and you can establish a company with a proper activity and run your business as well. The UAE law is now more and more flexible. But in terms of accelerators and incubators that you mentioned, and the growing of the hub and the ecosystem, can you tell us more, what initiatives do you have coming up? Anything interesting, anything worth talking about?
Sure, absolutely. So we launched DAO Hive last month, which is our new business center, co-working spaces, specially designed spaces for this industry, so that you are surrounded by like-minded people. You have ecosystem partners who are also contributing to that ecosystem. And again, it's back to collaboration. I come from the traditional finance world where there's a lot of competition. I'm learning how much collaboration actually, there is competition of course, there's a lot of collaboration in this space, and that is what makes everybody stronger. So there are several conversations that are going on the incubator and accelerator side. Tencent is one of the ones I mentioned. There are a few others that are happening as we speak. But there are 2 or 3 other segments that I want to talk about in the limited time that we have. So yes, we do the unregulated, and I have to find a different name for it, because it doesn't mean zero regulations. We have regulations, but it's not vast activities, those regulated activities. We called it RAKDAO for a reason. It wasn't, a mistake. Digital assets, OASIS, but also DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, because in a year's time, or maybe even 6 months' time, it's going to be think DAO, think RAKDAO. So we are very focused on creating and rolling out DAO regulations that make sense, that work, and that fit into the legal system. Now that last one is the most tricky one, because we've done all the research, and Irina on my right has been a great help in getting us there. And we've tried to take the best of the various associations, regulations, foundations, you name it, of DAOs around the world to come up with the best regulation. You can come up with the best regulation, but then will it fit into the legal system, and how far can we push? So we are trying to push the envelope, watch this space, but DAOs is one of the big things that we're focused on. What else can we do? Real world assets. It's coming up more and more and more. What can you do within the UAE that's not regulated? Is the tokenization of real world assets unregulated? Tokenizations in general, utility tokens, etc. So that's another area where we're very focused on rolling out regulations, you see, that allow you to operate within RAKDAO in the UAE and operate securely, safely, for you and for your customers. So these are key initiatives that we will be hopefully rolling out all of them within 2024. But at the end of the day, we have to operate within the UAE government rules, ESCA, banking, central bank, etc., etc. So, and I think that's a good thing. You know, you don't want to be in a jurisdiction that is too loose, because that comes back to haunt you eventually. So we have to have regulations. We have to make them friendly for you to operate successfully, but also protect the consumers and are very transparent for everyone.
Which makes a lot of sense, and I don't think you'll find anybody arguing against or contradicting you. If people want to find you, if people want to email you, if people want to follow you on Twitter, how do they find you? Where do they find you? How do they find the RAKDAO team?
There's nowhere for me to hide. So I look at my Telegram, I look at my LinkedIn, I look at my email, I look at my WhatsApp. There are 6 RAKDAO colleagues out there. So please, you know, reach out. RAKDAO.com is very easy to find us. But yes, I'm very active, and all of those channels you can reach me. And the team is also very active because I chase them with a stick. You know, both are necessary. But look, they're passionate about what they're doing because we're all passionate about this space. And the UAE is passionate about Web3 and making this a safe home for you from all over the world. I mean, look at the number of nationalities that operate in the UAE successfully, peacefully, happily. We even have a Minister of Happiness, so that should tell you a lot.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Let's give Dr. Sameer a round of applause for his time and for his amazing brief on quite a friendly jurisdiction which is available for all of you. Thank you very much.